So nice to have you back. I'd like in this video to share with you my analysis of the lyrics in the song entitled X Factor by the artist Lauryn Hill. Very soulful artist, and I find these lyrics to be strongly connected to narcissistic abuse. Let's delve right in. So the first verse of this song: it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up in scars. Tell me who I have to be to get some reciprocity. See, no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. When you take the time to analyze narcissistically abusive relationships, you realize how it can be so very challenging. You know, the difficulty rears its ugly head. Is so glaring that everything seems to be either a competition, a problem, something negative comes up, an argument, some kind of disagreement or fault, injuries left, right, center. It's always happening to easily triggered individual with this extremely fragile ego. Narcissists and many of the cluster B disordered individuals prefer to make it difficult. You know, this is how they hide who they really are. This is how they hide the agenda. You know, they put everything on you, they project onto you, they deflect everything, they blame shift, they guilt trip, and then they go and smear you, assassinate your character publicly, privately, in secret, however they choose to do it, or the type of narcissist you're dealing with. But they'd rather make things hard. It feels like you're in a battle, you're in a war with them, particularly during and after that devaluation period in the relationship. And then, you know, she feels like they both end up in scars. You know, narcissists are perpetually injured. That's their perception, that you're perpetually injuring them. You know, the slightest comment, the slightest criticism, the slightest, even if you're just making an observation. Sometimes observation could be a positive observation of this person or of the situation that you're both in, or of the surroundings, or, you know, anything could be an injury to this person. And then you feel like you're injured as well because, you know, they're putting your self-esteem down, they're ruining your finances, emotional scars, and sometimes, and not rarely, physical scars as well, psychological scars. She goes on to say, you know, do I have to change myself? Like, do I have to be somebody else for you just to get you to love me back, just to get you to treat me with respect, to treat me like I treat you, to show me empathy, to show me consideration, concern. She feels like she's an extremely loving person, that no one, you know, she expresses to them that no one can love them like she loves them, or no one will ever love them like she loves them, because she's feeling like this very strong, giving, loving, pleasing person to this predator. Obviously, she's not realizing, and she's in a confused state of what's really going on, and why is this not enjoyable for me? Why am I being so challenged in this relationship? And this third verse, she goes on to question, is this just a silly game that forces you to act this way, forces you to scream my name, then pretend that you can't stay? Yeah, basically that's what narcissists do. They play silly games. That's what the whole relationship is. A big game. It's nothing serious to them. You know, they're playing with your life, with your emotions, with your finances. They're playing with your, if you have children with them, they're playing with their lives. If you have anything serious with them, it's not going to be taken seriously. They will drop it in a drop of a hat. They would drop it in a millisecond and walk away, leave you holding the bag with all the responsibility, whether financial, emotional, parental, responsible, no matter what it is. It's a game to them. That's why they act the way they do. They're getting their needs met, but they're not meeting your needs. And that's how they do it, by playing mind games, by pushing, pulling, by intermittent giving, intermittent being nice, intermittent being mean, etc. This is how they reinforce the bond in the relationship, no matter how traumatic and fake that bond is. This is how they do it. That's why they act this way. They are actually forced by their false persona to act this way. It's like they are protecting something deep within that cannot be exposed to the light, else they would, crumble into a trillion pieces, psychologically speaking, emotionally speaking, because it's too strong, it's too powerful for them to face. So they have to play silly games with you. They put on a performance for you. For instance, with somatic narcissists, let's say when it comes to a sexual side of the relationship, you may feel like, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, this is, this person is fulfilling my desires, my fantasies, my needs, but it's actually a performance to continue to keep you bonded to them in the relationship. And they're also receiving your energy and supply from you during that occasion. When you're feeling like, oh, they're screaming your name, then they leave because they want to leave you feeling unsafe, unbalanced, feeling anxious, feeling in fear, particularly if you have somewhat of like a people-pleasing personality, which is connected to feeling anxiously attached to persons in your life, whether friends, family, or romantic partners. They want to leave you feeling this way, which is why they seem to be having a great time with you one moment, and the next moment they're ghosting you, or they are flaking on you, not showing up, not being responsible, not having a real reason why, or deflecting, blame shifting, and guilt tripping as to why they can't stay. But it's all to just keep you off kilter, off balance, and giving them fuel to, desiring them, trying to put out more, just giving off your emotions or your energy in their direction, and they're becoming stronger, more, confident on the surface wise, which doesn't last actually, because just like a bucket with a hole or holes in it, it just runs right out, and they have to be perpetually replenished. It doesn't end. So we go on. No matter how I think we've grown, you always seem to let me know it ain't working. And when I try to walk away, you'd hurt yourself to make me stay. This is crazy. So she's realizing that it's crazy the way this person is behaving. One minute they're like, I don't want you, get out of my life. They're ghosting you, flaking on you. And then the next minute you want to say, okay, well, this isn't working, let's part ways. But then they're hoovering you back in. I want you back, I want you to stay. They're love bombing you again. They're trying to idealize you again, put you back on that pedestal, which is that crazy cycle that goes on repeatedly. Idealize, devalue, discard, and then hoover you back in, trying to pretend that they're that person that you met initially, which they aren't. That's that false stuff they have to drudge up just to get you back into the relationship, or get you to stay in a relationship that's about to break down. And they're also hell-bent, or they're also very keen on being the one to discard you and not the other way around. So the next verse says, I keep letting you back in. How can I explain myself? As painful as this thing has been, I just can't be with no one else. See, I know what we've got to do. You let go and I let go too. 'Cause no one's hurt me more than you, and no one ever will. And these two verses, it shows that she keeps going back into that relationship. She has no rhyme or reason why she keeps going back. Something keeps pulling her in, perhaps as if it's like a magnetic connection, where someone who likes to please, is very giving and helpful and empathetic, meets someone who targets persons who are very empathetic, likes to please, very helpful, and giving, right? So when you meet, it's like you lock into the person or each other, just like a key locks into a door lock. You know, it fits well. It's cut out for that type of relationship. And that's why she goes on to say, I just can't be with no one else, because she's feeling this deep connection. It feels like your soulmate. It feels like someone who is meant to be in your life, particularly because of the mirroring and the mimicking the narcissist does initially that bonds you to them. You know, they do whatever it takes. They change their identity just to match yours, which they would try to change yours before the end of that relationship and assume it as their own when they steal your identity from you and use it to idealize or love bomb a new supply. And it's because the narcissist, because of the mirroring and mimicking, they know, and their observation, because when they first meet you, they're very keen on what your likes, your dislikes. You know, in conversation, they ask questions, they test your boundaries, they let you talk, and when they talk, sometimes they may appear to share a lot, but oftentimes it's fake stories, it's lies, it's not who they truly are. It's all made up. So you really don't know who you're dealing with. You really don't know who this person is truly. But they know who you are, and they're going to mimic that, and they're going to run with everything you tell them, which is why you shouldn't overshare, and you should be cautious of who you're talking to and what you're divulging to this person, or what you're sharing with this person, because with a narcissist, what you're telling them will be used against you in the future. So the final verse is, care for me, I know you care for me, there for me, there for me. You said you'll be there for me, cry for me. You said you'll die for me, give to me. Why won't you live for me? So in this verse is very telling, showing that, you know, narcissists make all these promises. They tell you they would do this, they would do that, then the other. But they're not able to live up to the promises. They're all empty vessels. They're all fake promises. And their words are laden with lies. She's, you know, now concerned that none of this is happening. None of this is coming true. The narcissist is an expert at future faking, pretending that, you know, complex where, you know, she's very dependent on this person. She's really leaning hard into the relationship and trusting this person. And now she's crashing down because eventually she will be discarded, and she's feeling devalued and just not getting what she had expected from the relationship, or had been perhaps promised in the relationship, had been lied to. So that's what I gather from the lyrics of this song. So glad you're able to join me today. Please find the actual song in the description box below. Also, if you have a song that you feel is strongly connected to narcissistic abuse, or the lyrics are tied to narcissistic abuse in some way, you know, please leave your insightful comments or the name of the song so we can check it out. Till next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.